Welcome back to the Top 11 Saddest and Most Bittersweet Thomas Adaptations. Today we have quite the sad story written by Richard Jordan and adapted to YouTube by Lego Ranger 1 and narrated by, God, I hope I say this fucking right, Dueled, who I swear was AI text-to-speech alone from his fucking his deep voice and almost robotic delivery. I swear to God, it sounded like AI, and I thought it was AI. The story is called Goodbye, Mrs. Kyndley, and I have provided tissues in the description for those that need it. Anyway, let's start the review. We open up with this smoothly shot introduction, introducing us to Mrs. Kyndley, who's been a friend of the railway for many years. Toby presently comes by to say hello.
For many years, and the engines loved her very much. One day, Toby stopped at a signal near the cottage. Mrs. Kyndley was tending to her garden. Toby gave her a cheerful ding-ding on his bell.
"Hello, Toby,"
she said.
"It is good to see you."
"What are you doing?" Toby asked.
"I'm digging up my old flowers.
She replied.
The ones from last season have died."
"Ah, flowers are delicate things," said Toby.
"You get new flowers, but they never can replace the beauty of what came before." "I couldn't agree more,"
smiled Mrs. Kyndley.
"I just wish I could keep the cottage looking as good as my flowers. At this age, it's hard to keep up with it all. Toby, do you have time to take me into town to buy new flowers? I must get groceries, too."
"Of course," Toby said. And as the signal dropped, he and Mrs. Kyndley left for the next station.
Mrs. Kyndley hitches a ride on Toby to town. When they reach the station, Toby notices how much slower Mrs. Kyndley has gotten. He talks to Thomas and Percy about it and come up with the idea to bring her supplies and began delivering them to her cottage, even redoing her garden.
She's getting old,"
Thomas sighed.
"I do wish there was a way we could make things easier for her."
"What if we make deliveries? I can ask the foreman to load anything she needs into my vans,"
Percy said cheerfully.
"And I can bring her friends to visit her in Henrietta,"
Toby added.
"That's settled then."
Thomas smiled.
"If we all pitch in wherever we can make a big difference for Mrs. Kyndley."
The engines were as good as their word, making a special stop each day at Mrs. Kyndley's cottage to bring much-needed food and fellowship. Thomas's driver and firemen helped her plant her new flowers, and neighbors helped clean the cottage from top to bottom. Soon it looked better than ever before, and Mrs. Kyndley thanked the engines, their drivers, and all of her friends for their hard work.
"It makes an old woman smile to have such wonderful friends,"
she said. Thomas, Percy, and Toby all beamed. Over the next few weeks, the engines didn't see Mrs. Kyndley as much.
The engines soon noticed that Mrs. Kyndley was nowhere to be seen to receive the supplies, and some different people began receiving the gifts. Toby asked one of them where she was and who they were.
"We're part of Mrs. Kyndley's hospice team," he said. Toby gave a pained look. He knew what that meant.
"Is she very ill?"
Toby asked, sadly. "I'm afraid so. We're taking good care of her," said the man. "She's comfortable. She asks about you and the others." Toby smiled.
"Please tell her that we are thinking of her and love her very much."
"I will," he said, and walked up to the cottage. Toby told the others the sad news.
"It's a shame. She was always there for us over the years, and now she's helpless."
"At least we were able to give her one last gift,"
Thomas said.
"Her cottage is beautiful, and her flowers are beginning to bloom."
The three engines sighed and sat in silence for some time, thinking about Mrs. Kyndley.
One morning, Toby brings his delivery, and instead of nurses, he finds a tall man in a black suit.
Man in a black suit. "Hello," he said. "While we appreciate your deliveries, we are no longer accepting them due to Mrs. Kyndley's passing." Toby's heart sank.
"When did it happen?"
Toby asked mournfully. "Last night. She passed away peacefully." The man turned and left Toby alone at the signal. Toby looked up and saw the blooms. Vibrant reds, blues, and yellows sparkled in the sunshine.
"They're beautiful.
but can never replace what came before. Toby said to himself, thinking of his friend Mrs. Kyndley. But no matter how sad he felt, the new life blossoming at the cottage reminded him that Mrs. Kyndley was still there. Goodbye, Mrs. Kyndley.
Bittersweet is what I will call this adaptation. Nobody likes losing a close friend, especially a loved one, where it is indeed sad but hopeful and triumphant for the future. Truly a tearjerker for anyone who knows Mrs. Kyndley, who has been a charmful supporting character throughout the Thomas universe. And this feels like a very Audrey-oriented written story here. Let's review the scales. The cinematography here is amazing. The composition of each setting is so warming and welcoming that you can't help but feel comfortable in it. The colors are very warm. There's almost no cooler colors in this. It's like the story wants you to be happy or at the least bit hopeful and triumphant even after the announcement of Mrs. Kyndley's passing. I love some of the dynamic camera shots we get here, and it feels as charming as the model series, so I'm going to give it a 10 points. I honestly didn't believe that this was an actual person narrating until I heard the other voices he provided. Doodled by a long shot has a voice fit for radio, an enthusiastic baritone voice with a good range of highs and lows, and puts effort into sounding just normal. And it seems like he really had like a little bit of fun recording this. When someone enjoys what they record through their voice acting, it adds to so much more to their character, and especially to what's going on in this story. I'm giving him 20 points here, because he just sells everything. The characters are very in tune with the original books and model series, and I will say it's a bit stereotypical from the behavior alone. But we do get some emotional moments from Toby, who probably shows the most throughout this adaptation. I think the director and narrator did a good job of selling that. There's one thing I wish this adaptation took into consideration a little bit, and that it took its time a little more. I mean, it's trying to fit that runtime of an actual Thomas adaptation, but I wouldn't mind if it stretched like a minute over, if they just sold each scene a little bit, let us linger in the moment a little bit. It goes by so quickly. Sometimes it's good to have long pauses between dialogue or some scenes, and the pacing is just a little bit off. The sound effects are flawless. I really don't have much to say about that. It really feels like a model series episode here. But I'm going to give it 9 points based on the pacing. Characters are good, though. This section is going to be really short. It's classic Thomas music utilized to convey themes of love and joy to saddening or melancholic themes. It's an automatic 10 here. I got not much to say. It's just beautifully crafted and inserted in a great way. And the final score is a 49 out of 50. I really enjoyed Lego Rangers 1 adaptation here, and the direction that he went in. Doodle's narration is certainly interesting, and it's definitely caught me off guard, because I swear to God, I thought it was AI. Very grandiose and befitting for this kind of story. I wish I had fucking pipes like that. I just wish that Lego Ranger 1 kind of slowed it down a little bit. The pacing's a little too quick for my taste, and I really wish it would let the audience linger in the sadder moments there. Richard Jordan, of course, needs no introduction for his writing. It's fucking masterclass, and I'm saying fucking because I really hate the mark for kids stings that people get on these adaptations. Thank you all for your patience. Also, thanks for wishing me well. That was a terrible bout of influenza, but of course I'm okay. My voice is 90% better, I want to say. Not entirely. Still difficult to breathe, and I'm still wheezing as I breathe. So it's like a cross between Darth Vader and a chain smoker. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.